Welcome back. It's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure review. Okay, so today we are going to jump into the time machine and travel back maybe about 28 or 29 years to the year 1995 or 96 as we take a look at this. From Kenner Hasbro, we have the Power of the Force Rancor. So, this was one of my favorite toys from Star Wars Power of the Force. I think it's such a beautiful, well-crafted representation of the Rancor monster that we see in Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi. I didn't actually buy this. This was something my best friend JC bought years ago when it first came out. And then some years ago, he was getting rid of some of his toys. And then, this was one of the toys I inherited from his collection. I love this thing. It's fantastic. It's everything I would have wanted from a Rancor action figure when I was growing up. Even though I did grow up on the original Kenner Star Wars action figures from the 80s, I did not have the original Rancor in my collection. And that's a nice figure, but if you ever handled it, it's like a very hollow piece of like plastic. Whereas this one, it's kind of like soft vinyl. It's really, really cool. And the whole presentation, the paint job, I think is stellar, even to this day. You're looking at something that was produced back in like 1995 or 96, and I still think it holds up incredibly well. Hasbro did make a larger Rancor some years back. For fans that remember the video game Star Wars: The Force Unleashed, there was what was it called again? It's not the Vintage Collection. I think prior to the Vintage Collection, it was called the Legacy Collection, and then they had a updated Rancor. It was much larger than this one, and it was just a beast. It was first, I think, released with the to coincide with the Force Unleashed video game, and that Rancor had like all the war paint and markings on it, and then I think it was repackaged later as part of the Vintage Collection. But this one, it predates that, and even though it's a little bit smaller and less articulated, I still think it's a phenomenal toy. It's pretty big, as you can see. It doesn't really fit underneath my camera. Let's pull out an action figure for size comparison. So here's the recent, very basic 5 points of articulation Mandalorian. I got this at Walmart a few days ago. Today is March 3rd, 2024. And this is about like a 3 3/4, 4-inch scale action figure. And as you can see, the old Power of the Force Rancor just towers over it. This thing is like a friggin' kaiju. It's ginormous. His mouth is kind of soft and rubbery, and you can actually pretend he's eating them. It's really, really cool. And it's such a detailed monster. And the size of it, again, it's gigantic. It's huge. A few years ago, there was that HasLab crowdfunding campaign for a Rancor for the Black Series. Everyone kind of like scoffed and laughed at it, thought it was a waste, and unfortunately, it didn't get backed. And I think the timing of it was just a little bit off because that was the same year I think that they had the Boba Fett series on Disney Plus, and there was a Rancor in that. So I think the initial thought was they were going to try to tie it in with that, but I don't think fans are too keen on spending, what was it, like $300 or $400 on a 6-inch scale Rancor. I think the price point was a little bit too high. I think if they had it at $150 to $200, that might have been a better deal. But yeah, this thing's awesome. And if you're curious, here it is next to a Black Series figure. If you wanted to, you could probably buy this and just say it's Boba Fett's baby Rancor from the Boba Fett TV show. Even though it's not to scale with the Black Series figures, it's still a gigantic figure. So, I don't know. This thing is awesome. If you can find this for a decent price on the secondary market or at a toy show or flea market, don't hesitate and just get it. It's really, really nice. And also because of the material that it's made of, chances are if you find one, it's not going to be broken. At the worst, the paint might be a little bit scuffed up. And you might have to clean it, scrub it down with some detergent and a toothbrush. But otherwise, it's a fantastic piece. It's such a statement piece on your display shelf as well. I think the one downside is that due to its weight, it's very top heavy, so it doesn't always stand perfectly. But I don't think you're going to care. Once you get this thing and have it in hand, you know, I think you're going to fall in love with it. It's awesome. This is something people from my age group are probably very familiar with, but if you're a younger fan, I think this is a toy that's really worth seeking out. It's awesome. It's really well done, and there's some fuzz and dust on mine. I should have really cleaned it up before I took it out. Yeah, you can see it's disgusting. Alright, so let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Alright, later.